sessions, which I wanted.
Okay, yes, I understand your schedule. Since classes have started, like all the participants have the same issue. They do not want to miss any session, but due to classes, they've been
Yes.
missing a couple of them. So,
So at our place, PhD admissions are going on.
okay,
So
sir.
that requires too much effort.
And
Sir, one more very interesting observation is that most of them are PhD holders in this session, and they might be having a greater role in their institution, so they might be very much busy.
Very nice.
yes. So we'll start in a minute.
Yes, yes.
So shall we start?
We can wait, up to you, madam.
Fine.
This is just I have shared the
Okay.
first page.
That's fine. Yeah, it's time up. Let's start. So, welcome back to the second session by Professor Brajendra Singh. I take the privilege of welcoming and introducing our speaker. Dr. Brajendra Singh is currently working as a professor in the Department of Information Technology at Indian Institute of Information Technology, Allahabad. And he has more than 15 years of teaching experience and more than 18 years in research and development. He received his PhD in computer science from Dalbagh Educational Institute, and his research areas include blind source separation, independent component analysis, biomedical analysis, artificial neural networks, data mining, image and audio processing, digital signal processing, and computational neuroscience. And he's a member of several professional societies, advisory board, institutions, namely IEEE, International Association of Engineers, and Society for Neurochemistry, India. He has more than 3 years of experience as a senior project associate at Department of Electrical Engineering, IIIT Kanpur. And Dr. Rajendra Singh has published several papers in international journals. He has worked on several projects with resource grants, and he has delivered talks at premier institutes including Baba Atomic Research Center, Mumbai, University of Hyderabad, Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, directors and secretaries of Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, Central Bureau of Investigation, National Crime Records Bureau, Directorate of Forensics, and members from CDAC, Calcutta, Central Leather Research Institute, Chennai, IIT Kanpur, and many others. And he has established the Deep Learning Lab and Advanced Image and Data Science Lab and Software Engineering Research Lab at IIIT Allahabad. He's a reviewer for IEEE and many other journals. He has guided many PhD students successfully, and he has delivered lectures in many seminars, workshops, and conferences. He has developed general purpose neural network software, BIKAS for BARC, neural network inversion software for Indian Oil Corporation Limited, Faridabad, and ANN software for ISRO Inertial System Unit at Thiruvananthapuram. Today, Dr. Rajendra Singh will be delivering an expert lecture on paradigms for augmenting quality in teaching, learning, and assessment, experiencing national education policy through IIITA best practices. Over to you, sir. I request you to handle this.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity to present whatever we are doing at IIIT Allahabad. So let me brief a little story about it. That our director, Professor P. Nagbhushan, joined our institute in the year 2017. And along with him, he brought many new ideas, which we tried to implement at IIIT Allahabad. And now whatever we are finding that new national education policy given by Government of India in 2020, they are having most of the thing exactly whatever we are practicing at IIIT Allahabad since past 3-4 years. So that's why I have chosen this topic, that experiencing new education policy through IIITA best practices. Because whatever we are doing here, whatever we have adopted here at IIIT Allahabad is there in the new education policy. So even we are having much more dimension as compared to new education policy 2020. So this is a computer science area, information technology area. So definitely I will use some examples from computer science domain and definitely from machine learning, deep learning domain, because that is my area also, and that is the need of the hour also. But most of my talk will be for quality learning, what to do for teaching, what we are doing here at Allahabad, IIIT Allahabad, for learning and assessment. Okay, so this we are going to discuss in this today's talk. So this is the title of the talk, that is the paradigms for augmenting quality in teaching, learning and assessment, experiencing NEP 2020 through IIITA best practices. This is my deep learning laboratory, which we have established here at IIIT Allahabad. So we work in pattern recognition, software development, effort estimation, biometric, information security, fake news detection, fault detection, time series data mining. So although there seems to be many things, but actually the core thing is the intelligence. Okay, so whatever we are doing here is the development of the intelligence. So that we are using for our classroom teaching and for solving real life problems and many more. So today's focus is on the teaching, learning and assessment. So that's there in the FDP. So teaching, the major contribution is from the faculty side. The learning major contribution is from the student side, and assessment definitely both the parties. Okay, so that's why I mentioned faculty, student, or both. Okay, because who will be more responsible? So learning, we are doing all these kind of teaching, learning for the students. Okay, so it is not like that the faculties are also learning. So they are also learning. Students are also learning. But this learning component, whatever we are doing in the classroom, is majorly for the students. So we'll see through different examples. So this is the quality in higher education. If you see the document, new education policy, new national education policy 2020, in the part second deal with the higher education. So I have only referred the part second majority because that is related to the higher education. So this line is from that document. Quality higher education must aim to develop good, thoughtful, well-rounded and creative individuals. Okay, so that is our aim of all the institution given as per the NEP 2020. Okay, and for achieving that, we should have different things. Okay, that we'll see. So quality in higher education. What can be there in the case of quality in higher education? Okay, so quality in institution universities enable an individual to study one or more specialized areas of interest at a deep level. So 2-3 points are there. So if somebody has taken admission somewhere in some institution, he should get the opportunity to do many other courses as well. It's not like that you have given a fixed bundle of the courses and the student has to go through all those courses. Okay, now suppose initially if the student has taken admission in a particular program, later he thinks that this program is not suitable for him, so he should be given the opportunity so that he can shift to another programs. Okay, or along with his own studies, whatever he is doing, he should be given the opportunity to take other subject of their interest. Okay, so it should not be a fixed type of system. So that's what is there as quality in the institution. So it should provide a wide variety of courses with lots of freedom. Okay, and that is the major focus of this NEP 2020. Okay, because in India there are many institutions, they are single orientation based institute. Like in our institute also, this IIIT Allahabad was established as a center of excellence in information technology. But one good thing with the information technology is it is applicable to all the fields. Okay, whether of biology, whether of engineering, whether of technology, whether of agriculture, aerospace. So everywhere you can see that this IT is well clubbed. So that's why we have this opportunity that we can actually diverge into many directions also, but keeping our own original aim of information technology. So quality in institutions. So first there should be some quality institute. Then only we can go for other things. Teaching, learning comes later. Okay. So quality institute, whenever we say that somebody is studying in IITs or ISC, ISR, IIITs, so we say that they are quality institution. But there are many private institutions, they are also very good in quality because they maintain the quality. Okay, they provide all the things which we'll see what are the things which comes under the quality in any academic institution. So first thing is the infrastructure, then coming to the quality in teaching. So it can be defined as the degree of excellence in inspiring students, and optimum content delivery that promotes student learning. Okay. So the overall objective of any teaching has to be the just inspiring the students. Okay. Once the student is inspired, he will learn by himself. Okay. But this inspiring student is the most important part. And second part, important part is the optimum content delivery. Okay. What we should deliver. Like in today's talk, I have thought that what I should deliver in this particular FDP. So earlier I was thinking that it is only for 1 hour, as normally being practiced at other places in Atal AICT course. But later on, 2 days back, I saw that it is for 2 hours. Okay. So now the time limit has been given for 2 hours. Then I should think about that what content I should present in this particular FDP. Then quality in learning. So learning that is purposeful, meeting objectives, learning in which learners are provided with the ability to retain skills and knowledge gained, and to apply it in solving classroom problems, and to apply it in solving problems of the real life. That is also given in the NEP 2020, that now we want a student that should be able to apply the knowledge in solving real life problems. Okay. So many years people are studying and they are not able to do anything in the real life, and that's why they are not getting the jobs. So what we want, what the government of India wants, or what we collectively want, that one should gain the knowledge and he should also know how to apply it for solving any unknown problems. Okay. It can be measured by the student confidence and satisfaction. So how can we measure that a student has learned a particular thing? By seeing his confidence and satisfaction. Like some new problem you have given to the student, and he is saying that after seeing the problem, that yes, I can solve it. Okay. Irrespective whether he is able to solve that problem or not, but if he is satisfied, he is confident enough that he says that yes, I can solve this problem. Okay. Then we can say that he has learned. Okay. Because the end goal is not important. Okay. Winning or failing is not important, but taking part, and that comes from the student confidence. Then quality in assessment, the 3 component we are taking in this particular course, FDP. So quality in assessment, continuous assessment, emphasize on the continuous assessment has also been given in the new national education policy, and improvement strategies, content validity, reliability, fairness, student engagement and motivation, etc. So that should be the keywords for the assessment, quality in assessments. Okay. So we'll see what are these in detail. So if we talk about quality, there are 2 important parts. One is the quality assurance and second one is the quality control. Quality assurance by adopting the best practices, whatever we are doing. Okay. And the end product, we are now evaluating the quality by taking the feedback mechanism. So that comes for the quality control. Like these practices we should improve, these practices we should discontinue, or we should add something else. So quality assurance is one part. And if we assure the quality, like in any industry, if somebody is manufacturing any product, then there are also again these 2 parts. One is the quality assurance, whether whatever process we are doing in order to make any product is meeting the standards or meeting with the best practices. Then we can say that if we are following these important processes, then the end product will be the quality product. Okay. So quality assurance is most important. And once the product is developed, then we can
Sir, you are not audible, sir. Sir? Hello everyone. There is a problem with network. Sir will join within few minutes.
Okay. So sorry for the interruption. So this happens. Okay. Sometimes when you present, there are technological constraints. Okay. Okay. So coming back to the quality, so we have to ensure the quality process, the standards, best practices, and then only we can expect that we are going to get the quality outcome. Okay. So coming to the academic institution, quality institution, why we are saying that we are quality institution as per the new National Education Policy 2020. Okay. So presently we are having 4 departments. The major theme streams of the IIIT Allahabad is IT and EC. So we have the Information Technology Department, we have Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, we have the Management Sciences, we have the Applied Sciences, so Applied Engineering Physics, Applied Engineering Mathematics, Biomedical Systems, Bioinformatics, all these things are there. In the case of Management Sciences, we have the Finance, Marketing, Information Technology, and many other things. Okay, so these are 4 departments which we are having. Then as per the NEP, if you see that they have mentioned that development of multidisciplinary education in research universities, this MERU term they have given, for holistic learning by phasing out the single discipline institute. Okay, that is part 2nd, section 11.11 of NEP. So what we have proposed at IIIT Allahabad, we are having twin degree programs. Okay, and that we have started even before this NEP came. So we have the twin degree program as an exit to a BSc degree after completion of 3rd year, and which comprises the theme discipline of IT and EC as degree after completion of 4th year, along with different combinations with the discipline of few applied streams, namely engineering mathematics, engineering physics, intelligent biomedical systems, and management technology. So what does it mean? A student is taking the admission into the twin degree program. I will elaborate more on this. And then if suppose after 3 years he is not able to continue with the studies, we can take exit, and in that case we'll assign a BSc degree. Okay, like you see, now you can ask that why a BSc degree, why not BTech, why not anything else? Okay, it is a technical institution, why a science degree you are giving? So if you see that there are many places as per approval of AICTE and many other, that they can offer this BSc course in computer science. Okay, so that is a computer science course, but they give BSc degree. And that is the objectivity of this new education policy, that science should also have the technology and technology should also have the sciences. Okay, including management and applied things also. So in this case, a student is taking the admission in a particular course, suppose IT, BTech IT, he has taken the admission, and along with it, he wants to study mathematics. Okay, so he can take parallelly along with this course. So I will show you the details, how he can choose the courses. And now at the end of this, he can get a twin degree program, because he is also having the option to go into another stream. Okay, or he will be trained much more as compared to a normal BTech program, a normal BTech student. So this is going to ensure the overall teaching and learning pedagogy while instilling the concept of multidisciplinary through the set programs. Facilitating the startup incubation centers, part 2, section 11.12 of NEP. Okay, so because once the student is able to do many things in a area of interest, he can actually establish his own company. He can solve many problems. Okay, so the twin degree program, what we offer at IIIT Allahabad is we have two theme stream of the institution, like IT and EC. So IT, what are the combination we are giving? We have IT and EC, electronics and communication engineering, IT and applied engineering physics, IT and applied engineering mathematics, IT and intelligent biomedical systems, IT and engineering math management and technology. And similar combination is with EC. So this EC with IT is already there in IT and EC. Okay, so our IT students, they are getting on an average around 20 lakh rupees package. That is the average salary of the IT students. Maybe EC student, they are having 18 lakh rupees. But all these students, whosoever are there in the institute, they want to study this computer science IT course of IIIT Allahabad. Okay, because package is one important part. Rest of the things come secondary. Okay, so if you see the details, like what are the combinations? Okay, so you see that this is a first semester course or the second semester course. Normally every semester we are having around 20 credit hours. Okay, so 20 credit hours, 50% we are taking from one stream and remaining 50% we are taking from the second stream. So now you see, because first semester we have kept common for all these streams, so I will not go into detail. Just coming to the second semester of this BTech IT and suppose mathematics, applied engineering mathematics, we are taking the case. So we have the course on discrete mathematical structure, 3 credit. We have the course on data structure, 4 credit. We have the course on computer organization and architecture, 3 credit. If you sum, it is coming out to be 10. So it is 10 credit course from the IT stream, important courses. Coming to the mathematics, okay, coming to the mathematics, now in the second semester, along with this 3 course of 10 credit, the student will also study the course on univariate and multivariate calculus, ordinary differential equations, abstract algebra. So there is another 10 credits. Okay, so this is coming out to be 20 credits in a particular semester. So similarly, we have clubbed together the mathematics course and IT course, the electronics course and IT course, the electronic course and biomedical course. Okay, so that he should study the IT stream, EC stream, management stream, or maybe the mathematics stream. And later on, if he want, he can actually go into the mathematics stream. Suppose a student has taken admission in IT and mathematics, twin degree program, then he can actually do further research in mathematics. Okay, it is not like that after doing the computer science BTech, he will go into the computer science only. He can go to the physics also. He can go to the management side also. And management is very much, it is a very good club with the technology, and that's what all the industries want. But there are also requirements of other disciplines, like mathematics is there, physics is there, electronics is there. So in this way, a student can get the opportunity to get a twin degree. Okay, and that's what we offer at IIIT Allahabad. Coming to the course structure, if you see how we are actually having these type of a structure in the course, you see that there is a course on, suppose, data structure with a credit 4. Then we have divided into LTP format. What it is, I will give you detail, like 2 classroom hours for lecturing. Okay, then tutorial and practice, there are different credits. Okay, so why 20 credit, why 20 hours, why 20 credit, not hours? Because okay, so why each semester should have 20 credits? Okay, So we have facilitated that the student can register for up to 20 credits. Okay. Then additionally, this 4 credit scope we have left to the student so that he can actually attend any other course of his choice. Okay. So making it total 24 credits in a particular semester. So we are not allowing any student to take more than 24 credits in a particular semester. So why 24 credits? Normally, if you double this, 24 credits, okay, by doubling it, you'll get 24 into 2 is 48, okay. And if you consider the 6 days week, then 8 hours every day will give you 48 hours. Okay, so there is a mathematics behind it, that why we have selected 24 credits in a particular semester, or in general the 20 credits in a particular semester, and this 4 credits for the student to, so that he can opt new courses of his interest. Okay. This is the comparison with the existing BTech IT program as well as the twin degree program which we have recently proposed last year. So we have also added the orientation camp. Okay, this we were not having in the original IT program. If you see that in any institution, if there are, suppose BTech IT program is there, any institution, okay, so there will be some fundamental courses, core courses, fundamental courses, okay, that are required for a particular discipline. Then there will be departmental core. Okay, departmental core means if somebody is studying BTech in EC or BTech in IT, those courses are mandatory courses which one student has to attend in any case and successfully pass. So there are departmental core courses, then departmental major project and internship, that is again very much important. Then specialization, minor, major, these are other bundle of the courses which normally a student attend. So earlier we were not having this orientation camp, which we are having in this proposed twin degree, twin stream programs. Okay. Then we have, if you compare that, the existing BTech IT program and the recently proposed twin degree program, it is having, normally we have 160 credit for a BTech IT program, but now we are having 160 plus, actually 164 credit program for this twin degree. Okay. But the facility what we are getting here is that a student can actually take multiple stream. Okay. So it is not like that he will be only doing one stream and will stuck in one stream. Okay. Now coming to what is there in this orientation camp, that is also there in NEP. So you see that in the orientation camp, there are 4 units. First unit is know your campus, know your labs. Second unit is based on the empowering our own mind, anger management, personality development, energizing the mind. Unit 3 is life skill management, human values. Unit 4, practicing and acquiring mind controlling skills, yoga, Indian spiritual heritage, and many more things. Okay. So that's what is also there in the new education policy, which we are already having here at IIIT Allahabad. Okay, so the orientation camp is also there because the government also want that one should know about their country. Okay, so it's there. So quality in institution universities, NEP also says that if the student has taken admission and because of some problem is taking exit, okay, then there should be some certification, some diploma, something should be given to the student. It is not like that in 4-year program he left in between after 2 years, then he should have nothing with him. Okay. So in a similar fashion, whatever is proposed there, we also have here, like if first some student is able to complete the first year, he will get the certificate, okay, with those programs, those subjects, and the appropriate number of credits. And if the student is able to complete the 2 years, that is 4 semester, and a minimum of 80 credits, then we assign the diploma. Okay. And if suppose the student is able to complete 3 years successfully and then he leave the institution because of suppose family problem, because of suppose he want to join some company, some job, because of the financial condition, then he will be given the BSc degree. And after completion of the overall course, he will get the BTech degree. Okay, in IT, EC, whatever. Okay, so at each and every point or in between, if he leaves, then he will get definitely the diploma or certification of those number of credits, whatever is there. So, and later on, we also give the flexibility that a student can come back and join the institution and continue his study. Okay. So, first and important point about the quality in higher education is that it should provide multidisciplinary education. It should provide freedom of selecting the courses. It should provide the deep knowledge about any course. Okay. Coming to the quality in teaching. So quality in teaching can be defined as the degree of excellence in inspiring students and optimum content delivery that promotes student learning. So we'll take some example of teaching and learning also. So teaching, the academic pillars of teaching, the most important thing is the curriculum design. So appropriate objective and outcome has to be there in every course. Reading list including books, research papers has to be there. And modes of delivery component, that is LTP, and its coverages has also be there. Classroom activities, content delivery, classroom activities in form of lectures and tutorials, design of exercises. Okay. Then learning materials, generation of teaching materials, use of existing resources, video lectures, PowerPoint presentation, textbook, notes, etc. Need for optimized resources is specifically in online education system. So this is also there in the new education policy, that this technology enhanced learning or online education system should also be considered by the institution. Okay, and the recent pandemic, all the institution has learned to run effectively their classes through online mode. Okay, so this component now government has made mandatory that it has to be there. Okay, but whenever you are taking suppose any online course of suppose machine learning or suppose data mining, maybe the cryptography. Okay, so what you should suggest to the student as far as this learning material is concerned. Okay, in some cases when we started this online education system due to pandemic, shutdown of the physical mode, then we realized that some of the faculty members used to give the reading material as the book. Okay, so whole book with lots of exercise, if you have given to the student, first thing is he has to download that, then he has to search for the appropriate content, and then he has to study. Then where is the role of teacher? Okay, or suppose if we have given a video link of national importance, there are problems related to the network, and there are problems related to network everywhere. Okay, so what will happen if there's some student is from a poor village, then what he will face? Okay, so now suppose you have given the link that this video you should download and go through that, then he cannot, or most of the student cannot download that video because of its size. Second part is, it is a huge 1 hour, 2 hour video he has downloaded. He has to go through overall content, and then he has to again understand like a book, like from a book which we have given, that what to study, what not to study, what we should focus. Okay, so that is the need of for optimizing the resources specifically for the online system. Okay, like there are multiple video courses available on the internet, but they are not optimum as far as my opinion is concerned. 1 hour video can be reduced to maybe half an hour. Okay, and now I think the government of India should also think about it in optimizing the video contents. Okay, then you see that there are multiple contents which are wrongly informed. Okay, so they have content that is not valid. Okay, they are misguiding the youth. Okay, they are not able to understand a particular topic. Okay, because of the content, quality of the content. So now Government of India is actually regularizing, monitoring the online things everywhere, like Twitter, Facebook, Amazon, everything. I think they will also come to this point also, to remove all those content which is not useful or which are having the false information, okay, and only promote the good quality content as far as learning academic matters are concerned. And at the same time, whatever the videos are there, they should have the optimum video for that, okay. So a student should be given the choice that he can download a particular video, he can go through that. If he want a particular detail of a particular topic, then he can refer to the detailed video, okay. So it is not like whatever you have given the content, he should go through that and then again the same thing, okay, because content is everywhere. So where is the need of the good institution, where is the need of the good teacher? A student by himself can download the videos, all things are there, many online courses are there, he can do the courses, okay. So one of our professor earlier used to say that if online education system is the ultimate solution, then we should open the cinema halls in every cities and villages, okay. So we can show the video and the student will learn, okay. So it is not like. So then teaching also comprises of continuous assessment. We always say that assessment, we do not say the examination. So assignment, what can be the form of continuous assessment? The assignments, the interaction among the students, the projects, the quizzes, feedback to the students, what they have performed, whatever they are doing, they should know what are the correct things, what are their good things, what are the bad things, and not the final examination type systems, which normally most of the institution till today they are having. So academic freedom to choose courses of their interest, and the most important point is the research orientation, that is must, and that is also from the new education policy. They also give emphasis on the research component, okay. So appropriate objective and outcome, reading list including books and modes of delivery, component, LTP and coverages is the curriculum design, okay. Then academic freedom to choose courses, I have already taken this example. So let us take this example of LTP, what it is. Suppose there is a course on object-oriented methodologies. So we have given that LTP structure of this course is 211. We have clearly defined the objective. We have clearly defined the outcome of the course: to understand object-oriented software development process, gain exposure to object-oriented methodologies, UML design, to apply object orientation and related advances for software projects. Then we have given different components, component 1 and component 2. I will give you detail why these two components. Then there are 4 units with description, and then there are textbook prescribed, okay. So this type of method should be there so that a student can actually go through the details, like what is the outcome, why we want to study this particular course, okay, what is expected, what are the prerequisite. We have also given the prerequisite also. And then academic freedom to choose the courses of their interest, okay. So coming to the curriculum design, the traditional university system, they have the theory courses, they have the practical courses, okay. They separately assess the student in theory, they separately assess the student in practical, but actually the practical is clubbed with the theory, okay. Whatever theory you are teaching in the class, one should be able to do practice on that particular theory, whatever you have given in the class. So modern system, that is the choice and credit link continuous assessment and award ordinance of IIIT Allahabad. We named it CCLCAA, okay. That is choice and credit link continuous assessment and award, okay. So it is based on the continuous assessment system. It is not like the traditional university based system. So one course with all these 3 components, okay. Every course should have these 3 components until unless they are highly theoretical in nature or they are highly practical in nature. Okay, then maybe this L component can be 0, or maybe the T component can be 0. Okay, but in general, every course has to have these 3 component, that is the L, T, and P. Okay, in the case of course design, one should remember that they should consider the timing and logistics. Okay, when to start this program, recognize who your students are. You are designing a particular course for the BTech student, or you are designing a course for the PhD student or the MTech student. Okay, so orientation will be different for different category of students. Identify the situational constraint. Okay, articulate your learning objectives. It has to be very much clear. Identify potential assessments. Identify appropriate instructional strategies. Which component you will teach on the board, which component you will show the video, which component they will go through in the tutorial, which component they have to practice by their own. Plan your course content and the schedule. Okay. So content delivery, we have said that there are 3 components, L, T, and P, and there has to be all these components in almost all the courses. So lecture refers to the lecture sessions or listening through classroom contact session. Okay, so most of the time it is one way. So teacher is teaching in the class, in one way he's giving the content to the student, giving the ideas, inspiring the student. The most important part is here. Coming to the tutorial, if you have TAs, then they can be helpful. So refers to the transformation sessions. Okay, so here the student is able to transform whatever inspiration he has got from the classroom context by participatory discussions, self-study, desk work, brief presentation by students, along with such other novel methods that enable a student to efficiently and effectively absorb and assimilate the content delivered in the lecture session. Okay, so whatever he has listened, now he should be able to grasp that, retain that knowledge by the method of tutorial. Okay, so TAs can be helpful. They can help the students. There can be smaller group, because in the listening part, you can have a large number of students in the classroom, maybe 60, 80. Okay, but in the case of tutorial, we want normally what we practice here, that every 12 students we have 1 TA. Okay, so it is a small, you can see the pyramidal structure. Okay, so one faculty is there, under him there are multiple TAs, 1 TA associated with 12 students. Okay, so similarly we are maintaining this ratio also. Then coming to the practice, refers to the practice or practical sessions, and it consists of hands-on experience, laboratory experiments, field studies, case studies, minor major projects, working in groups that equip the student to acquire the much required skill component. So you see listening component, L component, it's mostly one way. Tutorial, there is a tutor also along with the students, so they can interact. It is kind of supervised learning. Coming to the practice, that is totally unsupervised. So collectively they will evolve. Okay, so discussing among themselves, by doing their own work by their own. Okay, so that is the unsupervised kind of learning. That is the practice part. And then 1 hour session of L amount to 1 credit. So what we practice here at IIIT Allahabad, that if 1 credit L component is there in any particular course, so we assign only 1 hour. And if T and P are there, tutorial and practice, 1 credit amounts to 2 hours. Okay, so it means a student has to devote 2 hours for 1 credit component for T and P, otherwise 1 hour for 1 credit for listening. Academic freedom, I have already said that suitable certification based upon the credits actually earned by the enrolled student. Honorable exit option, okay, because of many problems student leave in between. Okay, so this should not be like after 2 years the student has left a BTech program, so then his qualification will be the high school or the +2 intermediate. Okay, so it has to be something else, because he has already studied 2 years. So now in this case the years will not be lapsed in the case of the student if he left in between. If successfully completes all the courses within the stipulated time frame, will get the degree enrolled, else certification of credits earned. Okay. We also offer add-on credits and certification in the normal BTech IT program also, and in the twin degree also. So normally we have given 160 credits for a BTech course, BTech IT course. The student can earn add-on credits. Okay, what are these add-on credits? Additionally, a minimum of 16 credits are suggested. So this we suggest, okay, like a student should do additional 16 credits if he want. Okay, if all additional 16 credits from the same department, like IT student is doing additional 16 credits from the IT department, okay, then he will get the degree with honors, BTech degree with honors, and specialization in suppose machine learning. He has completed 4 courses from a machine learning basket. He has completed 4 courses from information security basket, then he will get a specialization in information security. If the 16 add-on credits are earned from any other department, then he will get the BTech degree with honors and minor in suppose electronics. So BTech degree in IT with honors and minor in electronics or minor in management. Add-on diploma shall be awarded if the 16 add-on credits are earned from assortment of departments. Like suppose one student is doing some course from management, some course from applied science, some course from electronics, then he will get the add-on diploma. If less than 16 add-on credits are earned, add-on certification for those number of credits will be given to the student. Okay, so he can show his grade sheet that he has earned other credits also. Okay. So in these add-on credits, a student can get the option of doing the course on swimming, can get the option, the female student can get the option, or the male student can get the option of tailoring. Okay, so there are multiple things. The yoga, the sports, okay, the social service, so all these kind of courses can be there in the case of add-on credits. Okay, so it is not like he can also do the NCC. Now government has also made mandatory from a new education policy that NCC should also be part of this curriculum, should be credited. Okay, so all these things are already there in our IIIT education system. Okay, coming to the teaching, the administrative pillars. What are administrative pillars? Academic pillars we have seen. The faculty and student ratio, that is the most important part. Okay, you have a very good institution, quality institution, but this ratio is poor, faculty student ratio. So I have already given you one example that how we follow the pyramidal structure. Where we are maintaining the faculty student ratio. Although we are having very less faculty, but still we are able to manage them properly. Okay, because every 12 student there is one tutor. Above those tutor there is a faculty. Okay, then faculty with experience is another important part of teaching, and that is not possible with all the institutions, because you have to recruit new people, old people will take retirement. Okay, so it is not like that every institution will get all the faculties with experience. Okay, although all the institutions want that we should have the faculty with experience. Okay, but somehow it is not possible practically. So we can have the faculty with the experience. Definitely we should have. It is not like we should not have any faculty with experience. We should not have the senior faculty members. We should always have. Then one should have a very good library in the institutions. Okay, then we should have a very good laboratory and equipments. Government also support in this laboratory and equipment to almost all the higher education institutions through UGC, through AICTE, but direct funding. Okay, then other infrastructures. So that are the administrative pillars, but the important pillars. Okay, for quality institution, these factors are important factors. Okay, so factors influencing quality teaching, we say that we should have teacher knowledge, skill, disposition, behavior. The most important part, we should have very good teacher, then we can say that we are giving very good quality teaching. Okay, so teachers knowledge, skills, disposition, behaviors that support the learning process. Definitely that support the learning process. Many studies have already been done on it. Okay, so what is the effect? So Hanisek et al. Estimate the individual teacher's effect component of measured student achievement. Okay, so what is the effect of a teacher's quality based on teacher's knowledge, skill, disposition, behavior on the measurement of student achievement? So they have found that it is from 7 to 10% of the total achievement of the student because of the teacher. Okay, So we have very good teachers, but they will only impact on the 10% achievement of the student. Okay, so many research studies have been done on it. Then students' availability for learning, many times students face health problems, challenging family environment, attendance is a problem. They want to study prior, they want to get the prior learning opportunities that we facilitate. Resources for learning and learning strategies, curriculum quality, foundation course, learning materials, class size. I have already given the example of class size. Specialist support, collaborations, MOU, joint degree, dual degree, etc. with other national and international institutes and organizations. So why this is important part? This has also been given emphasis in the new education policy that we should have collaborations. Like suppose you are not having very good experienced faculty members, then you should collaborate with very good institutions. Okay, because every institution has to serve the nation also. It is not only the teaching in the classroom, they should also do the outreach activities. Okay, so maybe you can get access to the very good quality experienced teacher from other institution. Maybe you can get a very good researcher from any other industries who can give you real life hands-on to these students. So this MOU and collaborations are always very important. Coherence and use of technology. You see why IITs, ISCs, why they are quality institutions, because they are having very good collaborations in India and abroad. Okay, that's why they are equipped with all the latest state-of-the-art technologies. Okay, what are the latest things they know? Okay, and that's why their students are doing better as compared to other institutions. Coherence use of technology, the extent to which content and skill are well organized and reinforced across classes. The expert should teach in all the sections of L component, because in a bigger size class, like in BTech IT, we have 300 students. Okay, so normally what we do, we assign a highly experienced teachers for the L component so that he can cover this L component, listening component to all the sections. It is not like that somebody else is teaching in some another section. Okay, because you have to collectively assess the student also. Promoting collaborative works among the student also. And that is from NEP 2020 part 3 section 24. Okay, they also talk about it, and that's what is already there. Coming to the effective teachers, engage students in active learning. Okay, create intellectually ambitious tasks, use a variety of teaching strategies, tools, assess students' learning continuously and adapt teaching to students' need, create effective scaffolds and supports, provide clear standards, constant feedback, opportunities for revising work. Okay, it is not like you have given suppose some assignment and some of the student has not performed well, then you are not giving the opportunity to improve that student. Okay, so what will happen if you are not giving the opportunity to improve that student? He can be enforced to think negatively. Okay, he can get into the negative direction. Okay, these days this is the common problem we face, that a student is not taking part because of he's not able to do good thing in the classroom, he's not able to get good marks in the classroom. Okay, so that's what is the problem with the student psychology. So you should be given the opportunity to revise his work. Okay, like what we suggest the student, like during night time you should solve those problems which you can easily solve, otherwise you will sleep. Okay, you will be demotivated and sleep. Okay, and if you can solve the problem, then you will be motivated to solve many more problems. Then transparency in assessment is very important part. Okay, this is the most important part which student like and dislike about the effective teacher, that a particular teacher is very much transparent in assessment. All should know why they have got that much of mark. Okay, why the other student has got marks and why he has not got the mark. Okay, develop and effectively manage a collaborative classroom. So we should think about it, that how to collaboratively manage a classroom. Then coming to the quality in learning, learning that is purposeful, meeting objectives, learning in which learners are provided with the ability to retain skills and knowledge gained, and to apply it in solving classroom problems and to apply it in solving real life problems. Okay, so this is a National Training Laboratory, Institute for Applied Behavioral Science. they have performed many research. There are many researchers, they have done these type of research about the information retention in any human, okay, any student. So what they have observed, that what is the average retention rate and what is the method of teaching, okay. So there are passive teaching methods and cooperative learning methods. So if you give lecture in a classroom, it has been observed that only retention rate is 5%. If you are giving the reading material, it is up to 10%. You are giving some video, okay, it is up to 20%. So from lecture, reading, audio, visual, whatever is there in the L component of IIIT CCLCA ordinance, the student can actually retain up to 20% whatever he has learned, okay. So that is L component of IIITA. It can be anywhere also. Coming to the demonstration and the discussion group, that is the tutorial part, okay. So demonstration by the tutor, discussion among the students, presentation by the student. It has been observed that up to 50% retention is there, okay, whatever is the course. Coming to the practice by doing, that is the P component of CCLCA, and teach others, immediate use. A student can think in a group, solve any problem, implement any project. So it has been observed that the retention is up to 90% when they perform this thing, okay. And that's why we are having at IIIT CCLCA, we are having these three components, that students should listen first, get help from the tutor, then definitely should be able to apply and teach others, so that he can retain up to 90% of whatever has been taught, okay, or whatever is there in a particular course. So that is very important part. So it is not like that you are showing only audio visual and the student can learn. You have given the video lectures and the student can download and learn. So it is not possible. And this also emphasizes that one should have the physical classrooms also. Okay, it is not like the online education is sufficient for the students learning. So there has to be institution, there has to be collaboration among the students. They can participate among the discussions. So that is known as peer learning. Okay, so you can see that peer learning is having most important part as compared to other parts also. So all these components are only possible if you are having a physical classroom. Okay, let us take some example. Okay, you have seen many more theoretical thing, and now we'll say some practical thing. We'll see some practical things also. Suppose I want to teach the concept of machine learning. Okay, in any machine learning course, we start with the basically two types of learning. There are other learnings also. I'm only teaching two type of learning in this particular class, suppose. So I will teach the student that there can be supervised learning, there can be unsupervised learning. Like I have taken the example of tutorial and practice. The tutorial comes under supervised learning because there is a tutor. Okay, that person can monitor whatever you are doing is correct or not correct. Okay, and unsupervised learning, you don't know the outcome. Okay, you just have the data set and you want to maybe cluster them, you want to evolve something. So that is unsupervised. Okay, so in supervised learning, suppose a given data set that contains n samples, x1 and y1, x2 and y2, xn and yn. So we are saying that all the inputs are having the following outputs also. Okay, the class labels. And in the unsupervised learning, we say that we have given a data set that contains n samples without any class label. Okay, so it will have x1, x2, xn. Then there can be set of algorithm for supervised learning. Backpropagation algorithm is very popular. There can be unsupervised learning algorithm, k-mean clusterings and other things. Okay, so if I have to teach this particular concept, I should take some help from some tool. Okay, so now coming to the demonstration. So I can give a listening classroom or lecture in a classroom. Then this demonstration will take place in the tutorial. Okay, so we can have the demonstration. Okay, suppose you have the problem of exclusive OR. So exclusive OR, if you are working with the 2-bit exclusive OR, that is the benchmark problem. We normally give this example to all the students, those who want to learn machine learning. So what are the possible combination with 2 bits? There are 4 possible combination: 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. What are the outcomes? The outcomes are 0, 1, 1, and 0. So if the inputs are same, the output is low. If inputs are different, the output is high. Okay. Now we want to model this using the supervised learning, because we have already said the data set, if it is having inputs followed by the output, then we say that it is belonging to the class of supervised learning. Okay. Why we want to apply the supervised learning? Why we want to study this machine learning? Because we want to make the model according to our data set, so that we can use this model in order to do future predictions. Okay. Because this can be actually implemented in any, suppose, reactor in any place in the real world, so that they can be used in order to do the future predictions. Okay. And that's what we want. What we want to do the classification, we want to do the functional approximation, we want to do the future prediction. Okay. We want to do solve the time series problem. So now we'll try to create a model for this particular data set. Okay. This is a software which we implemented long back, written in Java. Okay. So now we can take, this is a problem where we are having 2 inputs and 1 output. It means the input and output is fixed. We have to just create a model. Okay. So definitely in the neural network, we should have 2 input nodes, and in the output layer, we should have 1 output. Okay. In the hidden layers, we can choose, suppose, 1 hidden layer or 2 hidden layers, and we can assign number of neurons in the hidden layers. Okay. So all these things we can create, and we can demonstrate the student, like you can have this type of structure which you have made for a particular problem of exclusive OR. Okay. An exclusive OR, there are 2 input and 1 output. You can see from this diagram, in between we have selected multiple number of hidden layers with multiple number of neurons. Okay. So this is in the tutorial part, we are showing the student that they can perform this type of iterations training. Okay. Then these are some of the features that are required, the number of iteration, the error level, whatever we want. Okay. Then this window will demonstrate them, like the starting error of prediction was 0.088. Then error at a particular moment is 0.08. Our goal was 0.0000, means error we want 0. Okay. So we have shown the student, like we can do iterations and iteration, and then we can train our model. So now a student can learn. Okay. A student can learn that we can perform many iterations in order to train this model, so that this error can be converged to near 0. Okay. Or very less. Then we will stop this model. We'll try to test this model, that what it has produced. Okay. So now you see that for 0, 0 output was 0, for 0, 1 output was 1, 1, 0 output was 1, for 1, 1 output was 0, and this is the calculated one. So almost 50% it has given. Okay. So what does it mean? It has given that it has not been properly trained. Okay. So what does it mean? You should perform with new set of algorithm. You can perform with new architecture. Okay. Let us take another example of same problem. Okay. So this is a scale conjugate algorithm. Okay. Maybe we can choose 3. We can have 1. Okay. Then we can give the concept of learning rate. We can give the concept of different algorithms. We can give the concept of normalizing the data, and then a student can actually see the performance. Okay. The earlier training was with respect to error backpropagation algorithm. Now we have taken the scale conjugate based method. So it gives you very quick result. Now you see that minimum error criteria has been received. Okay, achieved. Now you can test the model, and you can see what is the output. Now you see for 0, 0 output is 0, but calculated one is 0.0001. For 0, 1 output is 1. For 1, 0 output is 1. For 1, 0 output is 0. So error is very low. Now you see the plot, 100% accuracy you are getting in this particular data set. You can have different type of visualization thing, and this is the actual versus desired. You see there are 2 point at 0 and 2 point at 1, so it has to be at 45 degree. Okay. So now if you are giving this example to the student in the tutorial part, he can easily understand how to make model, how to play with the models. Okay. You should give the example of different tools. Okay. Coming to the clustering one, Suppose we are having self-organizing feature maps, then we can actually how to select the data set, what is the clustering. If it is two-dimensional data set, we can get this type of plot so that the student can visualize like this C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, 5 cluster it has formed, and this C2 data and C3 data are looking like the outliers. Okay, so once you demonstrate with this type of thing, a student can easily learn, okay, like what is happening. So visualization, use of tools, techniques. Okay, so this software we made long back for solving many real life problems, okay, of Bhabha Atomic Research Center. Some of the part we have given to Bhabha Atomic Research Center, some of the part we have given to ISRO, some of the part to SAIL, some of the part to IOCL, okay. And that is also mentioned in the new education policy part 3 section 23, that one should demonstrate the things. Okay, so that comprises of tutorial. Okay, now you want to motivate the student. Okay, so this is the application. Suppose I have given the concept of basic machine learning in the theory class, then tutorial I have given the practical thing, demonstrated the thing, how to work with. Now student in the practice, what they will do, you have given the assignment, different new problem sets, or you have asked the student to find out problem sets and then to solve those problems for prediction and other thing. Now again, you have given the idea of what are the 2021 deep learning applications. So you Google it, 2021 deep learning applications, you will get this. Okay, and this deep learning has been extended from the basic machine learning. Okay, so now you have motivated the student, like everywhere you see the self-driving cars, you can work with the deep learning, the entertainment, the visual recognition, fraud detection, anomaly detection, language translation. Everywhere you can see that there is application of deep learning. How to extend the concept from the basic machine learning to deep learning, you should give further extensions. Okay, so convolution neural network is the important aspect of this deep learning. Then you should give the concept of convolution. What is convolution? Okay, it is signal processing term, or mathematics, it has come from mathematics. Okay, so we have given that, like we have the original image, we can convolve with some filter and we'll get the outcome. Okay, element wise outcome. So what is the importance here? So in the case of machine learning, you have already seen that we have not done any pre-processing, we have not done any feature extraction. Whatever is there is the training part. Okay, so it is important that whenever you are working with the machine learning, if you have given quality data, then only it will produce quality output. Okay, if you have not given quality data, there is no guarantee that you will get the quality outcome. So what is feature extraction? You have to do it separately in the case of neural network. Now you see this example of convolution. So this is one image, middle image, and right side you can see only the horizontal thing. So there can be different filters, like horizontal filter. In middle line you see the two values, upper and lower side -1. So enhancing the middle value, suppressing the upper and lower boundary. Next one is the vertical lines, enhancing the middle value, suppressing the left and right boundary. Diagonal 45 degree, 135 degree. So in a particular image or in a particular data, you can actually get different features. And that's what is useful for deep learning. So you have image, you have pixelized image, you have applied different type of filters, maybe hundreds of filters. Then you have performed this convolution mathematics and then you got some data. You have reduced the dimension by using the max pooling. And that's what is the feature extraction module for deep learning. And then you see the next part of this deep learning is the classification, that you are already equipped with the practice, which we have demonstrated in the tutorial session, how to train a network. Okay. So now what we are giving concept to the student, that if you add this, if you club this feature extraction part along with this machine learning part, they are nothing but the deep learning models. Okay. Then the student can try different combinations, how to perform these things. Maybe they can choose any language of their interest. These days, Python is having all the libraries students prefer. So most of the students are able to make models for deep learning, even though they don't know the basics of machine learning. Okay, so that's why they should implement each and everything, and that's what we expect from the student. Okay, this is the real life examples you can give to the students of, suppose supervised learning. This project we did for TVS Motor Company long back. Like you have a test rig, some engine is there, two-wheeler engine is there. You can test the quality of the engine. Okay, whether it is good or not good during the manufacturing. Okay, So this system we have developed for them, TVS Motor Company. So we have proposed 4 sensors, microphones, to capture the acoustic of the engine. We have used some data acquisition card. Then we have made our classification algorithms. This is the lab setup which we did here at Allahabad. And then we have added with the computer with machine learning algorithm, and now we can, based on the sound, we can tell the quality of the engine, whether it is good, whether it is very good, whether it is not good, and if it is not good, then what is the type of fault in this. Okay, so we have actually find out many faults, 6-7 type of fault, like fault related to cam chain, fault related to magnetic rotor. Okay, so immediately during the manufacturing process, they rectify this thing. Okay, so once you give this type of example, student can easily understand how to grasp the thing, how to actually implement to the real life problem. And this project, TVS Motor Company has acknowledged that it was the best project ever implemented by them. Okay, so once you give this type of example to the student when teaching the machine learning, they can easily grasp like what are the concept, how to practice with them in the classroom, how to apply for real life solution. Okay, this is another example of Panna National Park which we did. This is related to Internet of Things, time series applications. So we have deployed multiple sensors in the forest, and then all those electronic mode, the sensors can actually capture the acoustics in the forest. So some gunshot is there, so it can actually detect, okay, where that gunshot has taken place. And then it can also localize the exact location. It can first identify whether it is a gunshot or something else, whether it is a roaring sound of animal. So this was a tiger protection, project, Panna National Park. Recently, there is one movie released, Sherni. So they are having this reference of Panna National Park. So they have very effectively managed it, and we have given this solution. So in this particular project, we involved all the students. The BTech students were there, the MTech, most of the MTech students were there. Some of the PhD students were there in this particular project, and they have worked on different modules. So one of the students have worked on the localizing the things. Okay, so real life, if you are adding the hands-on experiments, the practice thing, so that they can actually enhance whatever they are doing in the classroom. Okay, and then whatever the satisfaction, the confidence they will achieve will be much more as compared to normal learning process. So these were the objectives like firing gun, felling trees, movement of vehicles, soil digging, detection of animals crossing from the forest to the village, and from the villagers, some poachers are coming inside the forest, so we can detect. So you see, I was climbing on the tree from the elephant, and then we are putting the sensors there. Okay, so all these things we have done in a real life scenario, and most of these are the students. You see, these are the student left side and right side. They are helping me, and also they are working. And we have sent the student to Chhatbir Zoo of Chandigarh. So they have collected data, and then we can differentiate them. Okay, so that is the important point in the quality in learning. So if you add these type of hands-on, the technology enhanced learning, and then the hands-on experiments, and also some idea of real life problem solving, then students learn more. Okay, then coming to the quality in assessment, continuous assessment and improvement strategies, content validity, reliability, fairness, student engagement, and motivation. Okay, so in IIIT Allahabad, we have this formative assessment and summative assessment. So we divide normally the overall semester into 3 components. One is the C1 component. Now you refer the original document which I have shown you about the course. There are 2 components, component 1 and component 2. So normally you have to cover 4 units in component 1 and component 2. Component, you have to assess the student based on the formative assessment, which is tutorial, whatever he's doing, you should assess. Okay, then you have to upload the marks, because at the end you have to assign some grade point. So that's why some marks are required, otherwise that is also not required. And then in C2 period, you are performing the same thing into the 16 week, and then 16 to 18 week is the summative assessment, overall assessing the overall knowledge retained by the student. And by not giving the trivial things like we normally do in the normal university system, like whatever we have taught, we have given in the examination or the assessment. So this should not be there. Okay, we should assess the cognitive skills which a student has developed in a particular course. Okay, we also provide support for slow learner, like drop in a course by instructor or system. If C1 and C2, his performance is not good, maybe because of health condition, maybe because of this pandemic, maybe anything else. If C3 is less than 30%, even after availing the makeup, we also provide the makeup option for revising the performance. If the student fails to secure a grade point of less than 4 in the overall assessment, the system or the instructor will drop a particular student. Now, suppose if some student knows himself that he is a slow learner, so he himself can drop a particular course in a particular semester. Later on in the summer semester or spillover semester, he can actually complete that course. So a student may voluntarily choose to drop one or more courses to match his speed of learning. Attendance, what about the attendance? That is the most important part. Many products are there, many industries, they are developing this attendance mechanism. They are selling the products. So students are not forced for attendance. So we never say our student to attend the class, but they themselves participate in all academic activities in order to successfully pass a course. Because if they will not participate in the classroom activities, they cannot do with the tutorial or with the practice, or there may be assessment. Because it is a continuous assessment, they have to interact. If they will not interact, definitely they will not pass the course. So the system, the new system which we have at IIIT Allahabad, it automatically takes care of the student attendance. And we have found that the student attendance has tremendously increased. And attendance is a major problem of most of the IITs and ISCs, okay, but we don't have this problem. Coming to the quality assessment, how closely does what the assessment measure match the intended content, or how deeply, okay, how closely and deeply? What knowledge or skill does the student most need to perform successfully on this assessment? Okay, what do you want to assess? You want to assess intellectual capability of the student, that he is able to design a particular solution, okay? Or you want to assess whether he is able to write in a technical format, scientific format, or whatever else. If the student performs successfully on this assessment, what does that mean? Okay, so long back when I joined IIIT Allahabad, because this was my first experience in 2005 when I joined Allahabad for teaching, because before that I was doing lots of research for solving real life problems. But I started teaching from IIIT Allahabad only. So initially I was given the course on digital signal processing. I was teaching this course to the student. And I went somewhere, and then I came back, and there was a mid-semester examination at that time. Because earlier we were also having this examination system. So I have given some easy problems in the mid-semester examination, because I was not able to properly create that examination paper. So what happened, the student after that examination, they came, some of the good students, they asked me that we have made such a paper that all the students can solve it. Okay, then I got this feedback. Then later on, what I did in the end semester examination, I spent time, and from that time only, I have learned that we should give a very good quality examination paper or assessment paper. Okay, so I have given a very good self-created problems in the end semester examination. And then what I have found, I was knowing that there are 4 to 5 solutions existing for a particular problem, whatever I have given. If the student can, if a student want to solve that problem, they can actually take any route, 4 to 5 type of route in order to solve that problem. And when I evaluated those answer sheet, I have found around 8 to 10 type of solution for solving those type of problem. And that is very much important in order to inspire the student, in order to give the environment so that student can think innovatively and solve the problem. So I have also learned, okay, now this problem can be solved by 10 number of ways. Okay, so that is very important. So assessment materials should have valid, reliable, and fair content. That is the most important. I have already taught. Deep learning, understanding concept and applying it, that is the cognitive skills. So NEP 2020 also emphasizing on this cognitive skills, and that's what has to be evaluated. Okay, and now the government of India is also asking the school teachers, the intermediate teachers, the basic teachers, that they should also assess the cognitive skill of the student rather than the standard classroom examination based system. Generate curiosity and trigger creativity. That is the critical thinking. Like I have shown you some examples. So I have actually triggered your mind that now you can think about different solutions for solving these type of problem. Increase student participation. Definitely, if you are solving this type of problem, you will participate. Your student will participate in those type of things. Okay. Collaborating and sharing knowledge, group practice. Okay. Self-exploration and individual practice. Positive consequences and thus improve feedback for both the student and the teachers. No examination, remove ineffective system to evaluate the performance of the student is the most important part, and that we have get rid of in 2017. So NEP 2020 Part 2 Section 12 Optimum Learning Environment and Supports for Students talk about it. Okay, so this is depth of knowledge level. Source is NWeb 2002. So there is level 1, that is recall. So recall based thing. Okay, normally whenever we set this paper of JEE, what we do, we assess the student on this based on recall. We assess the student for the skill concept. We assess the student for the strategic thinking. We assess the student for extended thinking. Okay. Similarly, in our component C1 and C2, we actually do the same thing. So level 1, whenever we start any course, we have designed all the courses in such a manner that in this C1 period, this level 1 and 2 activities, that is the recall and skill concept, can be given to the student. Level 3 activities, the strategic thinking should be given to the student, and level 4 is the extended one, so that a student should be able to solve the real life problems. Quality assessment dimensions: synthesizing the information knowledge gained, modeling design complex real life problem solving, experimentation with critical observation, experimentation with research orientation, that is very important in higher education, latest technology use, communication, oral, written, multimedia. One should also be able to communicate whatever he has done. Collaboration and interpersonal skills. Now, suppose you have asked your student that there are different countries. So this is some 2-3 slide I have presented in some another talk. So suppose you have given your student this task that different countries, they have classified the transmission level into the community transmission, cluster of cases. Okay. So why and what basis they have done this? Okay. Then you are forcing your student to analyze the things. And then you have given this concept. Like if you are having this plot and if you are plotting with the Z normalization, you can see that there are two data set A and B. Normally, if you plot, visualize, you will see that both are different, but when you are transforming it, you can see that both are same. Okay. So all these fundamental things you have taught to the student, and this is spurious correlation you have taught, that maybe the mathematically you are getting very good correlation, but actually they are not having any good correlation. Okay. Then you have assigned this task to the student so that they can work on this problem and then come up with the solution that why different transmission classification has been done by different countries, like cluster of cases in India and China, whereas USA and UK is saying that community transmission. Okay. Then you have given some another work like different states, how they are performing. Then a student can actually do that in the practice session by their own. So in summarizing whatever I have gone through is the concept of karma. That is the knowledge acquisition, retention, management, assimilation, and applications. And that's what we named this this neural network software as Karma. Okay, so Karma is a software, machine learning software. Okay, that we have made. So that is the knowledge acquisition, whatever we are doing in the classroom tutorial, then retaining those knowledge, management of the overall thing, assimilation and application for solving real life problems. So human intelligence can be defined as a general mental ability for reasoning, decision making, problem solving, learning and retaining information. Intelligence combines cognitive functions like perception, attention, memory, planning, and language. So that is the most important part. You can say that that is the extract of NEP 2020, which we are practicing here at IIIT Allahabad. So if we have this Q factor, quality factor in the teaching and assessment, that will definitely lead to the learning of the student towards gaining the intelligence or the cognition or cognitive things. And let me acknowledge our Honorable Director, Professor P. Nagbhushan, for bringing this innovative concept of CCLCA and twin degree program at IIIT Allahabad. The coordinators of this FDP, Dr. Vanishri Arun and Professor Shashikala from Mysore, and collaborating host, Dr. Mohammad Javed, IIIT Allahabad, definitely ICT Atal, and definitely this Ministry of Education, Government of India, because they have come up with this new education policy, new National Education Policy 2020. Thank you so much for your patience learning.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful and thought-provoking lecture, sir. So now I think Dr. Vanishri will take the questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for your insightful and detailed information about teaching, learning, and assessment practices at IIIT Allahabad. Any queries from the participants?
So you can ask any questions. Okay, I can answer if I am knowing. I can learn if I'll not know the answer.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Any questions from the participants? Sir, a few participants have been posting offline after the sessions every day. So we'll take the queries offline and we'll post them to you. Please
Definitely.
answer them at your leisure,
Okay.
convenient time, sir.
Okay.
So I take this opportunity to thank Professor Brajendra Singh for his insightful and informative session on teaching, learning and assessment practices at IIIT Allahabad based on national education policy. Hope the participants have understood the methods to be followed in teaching, learning and assessment practices and take the maximum benefit in formulating best practices in their institute also. Thank you very much, sir. It's a
Thank you,
pleasure
madam.
having you here.
Thank you, Javed sir. Thanks to all
Thank
the
you very much, sir.
participants.
Thank you for accepting our invitation, sir, and delivering making our CCLC ordinance into the limelight of the country. So it really.
So
Yes.
this
you
national
also-
education policy came later, and we have implemented before then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you were heading the department of IT, I think. So it was a wonderful experience, sir, to listen to you, to all your experiences.
So actually, I was heading during that period, that IT department, and that's why I got this opportunity. So,
Yes, sir.
so thank you all. So I can leave.
Yes,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all for attending.